We are the Gujarat Technological University. Since its inception over a decade ago, GTU has been empowering young and curating minds to realize their true potential. Over 4 lakh inspired students are enrolled with one of the premier academic universities in India. With more than 450 affiliated colleges in its fold operating across 5 zones of the state, GTU, the International Innovative University, your place to move forward.
Good morning everybody. Today we discuss about the FSK signal frequency shift key, and with the same context we will discuss about the various parameters of FSK, including the bandwidth requirement, then the power consumption, then we will discuss about the constellation diagram, FSK transmitter, and in the same line we will discuss about the FSK receiver, coherence FSK receiver and non-coherence FSK receiver, and we will conclude the lecture after discussing about the MRE FSK signal. So in MRE FSK signal we will consider special case of FSK signal where M is equal to 4. In our earlier discussion we have learned in ASK signal the information is stored in form of amplitude. If there is a bit 1, we can transmit the carrier signal. If bit 0, we are not transmitting the carrier signal. So basically the informations are stored in form of a amplitude. Where in FSK, the information is stored in form of a frequency. So if we have a bit 1, we can transmit with carrier signal of frequency F1, and if we have a bit 0, we can transmit with the carrier signal of frequency F2, that we will see in the same lecture. This is the mathematical presentation of FSK signal. So FSK signal can be defined as square root of 2EB by TB multiply with cos 2 pi FIT. Now Fi is the frequency of ith symbol. We have only 2 symbols here. The first symbol would be a bit 0. So that can be represented by the subscription I is equal to 1. And if we have bit 1, we can have a subscription 2. So this correspondence with the bit 1 and 0, we have a 2 subscript of I. So here there may have a 2 frequency, F1 and F2, and assume here the F1 and F2 are not the same, they are different. Generally this is the generally when we are transmitting 1, we can transmit with the frequency F1, and if we have a bit 0, we can transmit with the frequency F2. This is a general block diagram of FSK transmitter. X of t is the input, which is the binary in the form, and Y FSK of t is the output of your signal, which is represented in mathematical form here. Now we are using the 2 carrier signal. One carrier signal is of F1, so that can be defined as a cos 2 pi F1t, and another carrier signal is defined by cos 2 pi F2t, and there is a switching from cos 2 pi F1t to cos 2 pi F2t. When there is a bit 1 like this, we can transmit with the carrier signal 2 pi F1t, and when there is a bit 0, we can transmit with cos 2 pi F2t. Again there would be a 1, we can transmit with the cos 2 pi F1t, and so this 2 carrier signal of F1 and this 2 carrier signal cos 2 pi F1t and cos 2 pi F2t are alternatively used to represent the bit 1 and 0. Here there is a switching which switch over. So this switching function is basically connected with the input. So as per the value of input 1 and 0, it can be switched over to the frequency from f1 to f2 and from f2 to f1. Here f1 is assumed as a carrier frequency fc plus delta f, and f2 can be considered as fc minus delta f. So we can see here there would be clearly 2 delta f difference between two carrier frequency f1 and f2. One is higher and one is lower. So the f1 is fc plus delta f, so f1 is greater than f2. This is assumption here. This is the equation which is rewritten here. Two different frequencies are used to define a 1 and 0, or you can say to encode a 1 and 0. So if we rewrite the equation here, so we can say the frequency shifting key y fsk of t can be defined as a square root 2 eb by n0, 2 eb by tb. So square root of 2 eb by tb here and square root of 2 eb by tb here. And this can be defined by cos 2 pi f1 of t. So when you are transmitting this, when the input bit is equal to plus 1, input bit would be equal to plus 1, right? So x of t would be a plus 1. And whenever we are transmitting square root 2 eb by tb cos 2 pi f2 t, when the input bit would be a 0. So when this 1 and 0 would be switch over, and here there would also be switch over from the carrier carrier signal with cos 2 pi f1 t to cos 2 pi f2 t. This is the graphical presentation here. There are 3 bits have been chosen. The logic 1 can be represented by positive pulse, that is logic 0, and this is logic 1. And 2 carrier signal have been chosen. The carrier signal C1 of t can be chosen with the frequency of f1 of t, and carrier signal C2 of t can be chosen with the frequency f2t. And here it is assume the frequency f1, it's a frequency f2 and this frequency f1, and we choose here the frequency f1 is larger than the frequency f2. So this is simply defined as a cos omega 1t carrier signal, and this one can be simply defined as cos omega 2t carrier signal. Whenever there would be a logic 1, we will go with the carrier signal C1 of t. So this bit can be encoded with this carrier signal which is represented here, this portion. Whenever there would be a logic 0, so it can be encoded with the carrier signal C2 of t. So this one has been transformed here. When there would be again logic 1, so we will go with the carrier signal 1 C1 of t. So you can notice here the amplitudes are constant. That would be a peak amplitude A, and there would be a negative peak amplitude would be a minus A, and the waveform will be oscillate between plus A to minus A. So amplitude remains a constant, but the frequency deviate here, frequency fluctuate here, and this fluctuation it depends on the bit stream. If your bit would be a 1, the carrier signal C1 of t can be transmitted, and if the bit 0, the carrier signal C2 of t would be transmitted. So that has been shown over here. So there would be a fluctuation in frequency, and the receiver have to identify this frequency, and as per this the receiver can decode the signal back to 1 and 0 from the incoming signal. Now how to generate the signal? So we will go with the generation of FSK signal, and to generate the FSK signal the 2 ASK modulators are required. So what is the objective here? When there would be 1, then the signal or bit 1 can be encoded as with the cos omega 1 of t, and there would be a 0, then the signal can be encoded with the cos omega 2 of t. So SK modulator is simply work as a multiplier. So this is simply work as a multiplier here. sorry, we can go with this one. Here in this signal we will give the input as a x of t signal, and x of t signal is the original signal, which is a bit stream of 1010. In this ASK modulator, the second input is the carrier signal 1, which can be represented as square root 2 EB by TB. So this shows the amplitude, and carrier signal is cos omega 1t. That can be represented in graphical form like this. So both will be multiplied here, and finally we are getting a y dash of t. So y1 dash of t signal is the output of ASK modulator. Here we can see when there would be a 1, we can transmit the carrier signal of omega 1 frequency, and there would be a 0, we are not transmitting anything. There would be again 1, we can transmit the carrier signal with omega 1 of t, and so forth. So this one is representing the output of ASK modulator 1, right? Now at the 0, this is a simple ASK signal, but we want to produce a FSK signal. So in FSK signal for 0, we have also one carrier signal of different frequency. So to add one another carrier for a 0, we will use the second ASK modulator. So in second ASK modulator, signal would be inverted here. So whatever the place is, we have a 1, now we have a 0. Whatever the place is, in earlier case we have a 0, now we have a 1. So 1010 stream can be converted as a 0101 after passing through the inverter. Now we are using the ASK modulator 2, second ASK modulator, and the carrier signal we are using here is of omega 2 frequency. So that can be represented as square root 2 EB by TB cos omega 2t. We multiply over here. So here what happens, in earlier case where there would be a 1, we have a 0 here, there would be a 0, we have a 1 here. So all the portion where the 0 are now 1, so it is multiplied with the signal, and we are getting this kind of a waveform where there would be a 1, we have a signal. When there would be a 0, we have no signal. 1, we have a signal. 0, we have no signal, and there would be again 1. But this one is the carrier 2 of a frequency omega 2 cos omega 2t. So now that is an alternative presentation. Here we have a 1 which is encoded with omega 1 frequency. The 0 is basically converted to 1 over here after passing through inverter, multiply with cos omega 2t. So this 0 is basically 1, and it is multiplied with cos omega 2t. So this signal is basically added over here. So after addition, this portion will remain as it is, but this portion is to be replaced with the second carrier of this one, omega 2t frequency. So if you are adding here, so here we can see whenever there would be a 1, so it goes with the carrier signal 1. Whenever there would be a 0, so it goes with the carrier signal 2, which is of lower frequency. Then again 1, which is of higher frequency, go with the carrier signal F1. Then 0, it goes with the carrier signal of F2 frequency. So F1, F2, F1, F2 will be alternatively changed. So this is one kind of a modulator, FSK modulator, which can be produced with the two different ASK signal. In this ASK signal, we are using x of t input with the carrier signal of F1 frequency. In the second ASK modulator, we are using inverted version of your input signal and multiply with the carrier frequency of F2, carrier signal of F2 frequency. So that is the things. And here it is assumption F1 is larger than F2. That's why omega 1 is larger than omega 2. Now we will go to the bandwidth comparison. And here we compare the bandwidth of FSK signal with ASK signal. So the general mode is we find the Fourier transform, and then we find the power spectral density of this. So in earlier case, we have a power spectral density of ASK signal, which is concentrated to only FC, because there would be a single carrier is used. For a bit 1, we are using carrier signal. For 0, we are not transmitting anything, or we are not using any carrier signal. So all the spectrum is concentrated at the carrier frequency FC, and the bandwidth is B, which is minimum. But now in FSK signal, we have a two carrier signal. 1 and 0 both are transmitted alternatively with the different carrier signal. So 1 can be transmitted with something like as F2 carrier frequency, and higher frequency is F1, so we write here, and 0 can be transmitted with the another carrier frequency F1. So there are spectrums of a two carrier frequency. And assume the both have a bandwidth of B. So total bandwidth of your signal is B plus B to B, which is twice then the minimum frequency B, or a bandwidth of ASK signal. So compared to ASK signal, FSK signal consumes double bandwidth. So FSK signal is considered as a inefficient for the bandwidth utilization, or the bandwidth efficiency of FSK signal is considered as a very poor compared to ASK signal. So because it consumes a double bandwidth than ASK signal. So this is here, FSK is not considered as a bandwidth efficient scheme. Now we come to the orthogonality. Here we are transmitting two carrier signal. For F1 we are transmitting the carrier signal of F1 frequency, and for 0 we are transmitting with another carrier frequency F2. So here it is essential that both the carrier signals are orthogonal to each other. What is the necessity of orthogonal here? Someone raised the question. We will take a look of this at later stage, why this is important. Both the signals are orthogonal here. But the orthogonality condition is that the integration of the signal, the dot product of your signal for one cycle, if you take the dot product of your signal, all the points of your signal for one cycle 0 to t, then if it would be 0, so this signal is considered as an orthogonal signal, and this is the orthogonal signal pair. So this is the condition to check the orthogonality. You take the dot product of the signal for a one cycle, all the points for a one cycle, or this may be in another word, it can be represented as area covered by multiplication of two signal. Multiplication of two signal for how much duration? For time period t. And if it would be 0, so the signal is considered as a orthogonal. This orthogonality is important because here whenever we are receiving this, whenever the signal is received, so here we have to identify the signal in form of a one. We want to separate out the signal, and so there are two branches are that later on we will see. In the receiver we have two branches. In the first branch is responsible to identify the cos omega 1 of t, cos omega 1 t signal, and the lower branch is responsible to identify cos omega 2 t. So C1 of t can be identified by the branch 1, and C2 of t can be identified branch 2, and later they are decoded, and in the later stage they can decode it as a 1 and 0. So here orthogonality is very important because of the orthogonality, here the one signal can be identified correctly, and the other signal multiply with the first signal multiply with the second carrier will produce a 0, and second carrier multiply with the first carrier will produce a 0. If both the signal are of the same frequency, then the orthogonality may not be maintained, and we take the advantage of this to decode as a 1 and 0. So that we will see whenever when we will study the receiver structure of FSK signal. Here this is the constellation diagram of FSK signal. In constellation diagram there are two symbols S1 and S2. First symbol is square root 2 EB by TB cos omega 1t, and second symbol is square root 2 EB by TB cos omega 2t. And we have already mentioned earlier, these are the pair of orthogonal signal. Both the signals are mutually orthogonal. So if one can be represented here on real axis, the second can be represented on an imaginary axis, so that the 90-degree angle is maintained. And this 90-degree angle represents these two constellation points S1 and S2 are orthogonal to each other. So this is the constellation diagram of FSK signal. Now we take a look of FSK transmitter. So FSK transmitter is same as what we have discussed. We have X of t signal multiply with the multiplier or ASK modulator with the frequency f1. Here it passed through the inverter. We have a inverted version of this x of t, multiply with the second oscillator, produce a carrier frequency of omega 2, multiply, then they are added over here, and then finally we are producing here a FSK signal. So that part we already discussed. Now we go to the receiver. So in a FSK receiver can be classified broadly in two category: coherence FSK receiver and non-coherence FSK receiver. So in a coherence FSK receiver, we are using the same carrier signal at the receiver side to decode the signal, whatever the carrier signal we have used at the transmitter side. So this represents the same thing here. Here let's assume here we are receiving y FSK of t. So there are two branches are there. This is the branch 1, the upper branch, and the second is the branch 2. Both signal are parallelly received by branch 1 and branch 2. There is no separation here. So y FSK of t signal can be received branch 1 and branch 2 here, but we are using two different correlator here, correlator 1, correlator 2. In correlator 1 we are multiplying with phi 1 of t, and correlator 2 multiply the incoming signal with phi 2 of t, pass through the integrator. And so correlator 1 is basically combo functions. The first function is multiply the incoming signal with phi 1 of t or phi 2 of t and then integrate them. And then this output is basically take the difference over here, x1 of t minus x2 of t. This is x1 of t, you can assume, and this is x2 of t, we can assume. So there is the difference is produced here, x3 of t, and then this difference is given to the decision devices, and then output would be considered. Now what is phi 1 of t? So phi 1 of t is square root 2 EB by TB cos omega 1t. Here we are using the same carrier signal which is used at a transmitter side to encode a 1. Phi 2 of t is square root 2 EB by TB cos omega 2t. That is the same carrier that we have used earlier at a transmitter side to encode the bit 0. Now we have two possibilities. The incoming signal may be 1 or 0. So depends on that. If incoming signal would be 1, so it is multiplied with cos omega 1 t, and if it is input bit 0, we have multiplied with cos omega 2t. So what happens here? So let's take the x1 of t as an output of correlator. So there are two functions. One is the incoming signal, which may be 1 or 0. So let's assume here the first, assume the incoming signal would be a bit 1. So bit 1 can be represented as a square root 2 EB by TB cos omega 1t. So receive signal may be square root 2 EB by TB cos omega 1t. This is received as a y FSK t signal. So that we represent here. Let's assume we are receiving square root EB by TB cos omega 1t here. Okay, now the parallel goes in both the branches. So we first consider the branch 1, the upper branch, where the signal is multiplied with the phi 1 of t. So if the signal is multiplied, this is the signal is multiplied with phi 1 of t. So phi 1 of t is square root 2 EB by TB. So there are square root 2 EB by TB of this and square root 2 EB by TB of your original signal, this one. So both will be multiplied and we are getting here 2 EB by TB cos omega 1t, cos omega 1t. If you simplify this, cos square omega 1t, if you further simplify, so 1 minus cos 2 omega 1 of t by 2, we can separate it in two branches. So we have to integration of 1/2 and here integration of minus cos 2 omega 1 t by 2. Now we have already learned, if you take the integration of any cosine signal for one cycle, this is for 0 to t, so that is for one cycle. So that is the area covered by any cosine or sine signal would be a 0, is equal to 0. So this term would be turned out to 0. So we have only first term. So if you take the integration, so it is TB by half. If you cancel out, so we are getting x1 of t as a EB. So here in the upper branch, here we are getting EB as an output if we are receiving square root 2 EB by TB cos omega 1t, right? Now consider the second case when we are receiving the 0. Consider this case when the same signal is received, and now we analyze the signal output at branch 2. So we are interested for x2 of t, right? Receiving the same signal, so that is 0 to t, incoming signal y fsk of t multiply with phi 2 of t here. In earlier case we have multiplied with phi 1 of t because it's a upper branch calculation. Here in lower branch calculation we multiply with phi 2 of t, which has been represented here. The upper branch signal can be multiplied with phi 1 of t, lower branch signal is multiplied with phi 2 of t. So phi 2 of t is represented here as square root 2 eb by tb cos omega 2t. So that is here we multiply omega 1 omega 2t, but these are the pair of orthogonal signal we have already proved earlier. So that is the mutually orthogonal signal, the pair of mutually orthogonal signal, so they will produce a zero outcome, right? So finally it multiply with 2 eb by tb and we are getting 0. So now for the same signal here, what it produces? 0. So x3 of t is simply the difference between the first branch, and it is basically comparator which compare every value with a 0. If here x1 of t is larger than x2 of t, so the difference x3 of t is basically x1 of t minus x2 of t. If that is greater than 0, we will encode as a 1, and if this difference x3 of t, x1 minus x2 with x2 of t is larger, so that will be negative, x3 of t would be a negative, and that would be decoded as a 0. So this is the role of the this is in devices. This is in devices, compare the input signal with 0. If it is above 0, it decode as a 1, and if it is below 0, decode as a 0. So now we came here, x3 of t is basically difference x1 of t and x2 of t, so x2 of t would be a 0 in this case, x1 of t would be eb. If you take the difference, eb is basically the energy of your pulse or bit, that would be greater than 0. So threshold detector here will take the decision in favor of 1, and here we are getting the output as 1. This output is 1. Now consider the reverse scenario. So for reverse scenario, let's assume you are receiving the 0 or symbol 2. So if you are receiving the 0, then the symbol can be represented as the same amplitude but with the frequency cos omega 2t. So what happens here in branch 1, it is multiplied with cos omega 1t. So cos omega 1t and cos omega 2t are orthogonal, so they are producing here, the things are reverse here, it produces 0, and here cos omega 2t is multiplied with phi 2 of t, which is also same frequency cos omega 2t, and then it will be produce a energy eb in a lower branch. So if the 0 is received, the lower branch has a higher amplitude than the upper branch. So if you further take the difference here, if you further take the difference here, so in that case, if the 0 bit is received, then x1 of t would be a 0, x2 of t would be eb. If you take the difference, so we are getting here the minus eb. We are getting here the minus eb, and that is less than 0. So here the threshold detection, this difference will be here at this one. We are getting it is minus, so it is this condition, and then the decision will be taken in favor of 0. So 0 will be decoded successfully. So that way the receiver can identify 1 and 0 correctly. And here the orthogonality is important. That's why the signals have been made purely orthogonal. The importance you can understand here, if they were not orthogonal, so this would not be the 0. And so upper branch and lower branch both have output, and receiver is not able to decode the bit 1 and 0 correctly. So that you can understand the importance of orthogonality in this case. Now the second case is the non-coherent detection of ASK. And so in non-coherent receiver, we don't have a carrier signal at the receiver side to decode the original bit, but we are using the match filter. Here x of t signal is received. So basically x of t signal is not received. Here we can consider is a y fsk of t signal is received. This is the match filter. If your signal has the carrier of cos 2 pi f1t is perfectly match and generate the best outcome. And the second match filter is designed for cos 2 pi f2 signals. So if your signal has this term cos 2 pi f2t perfectly match and generate the best outcome. So in first case, if we are receiving cos omega 1t signal, so this will match, this will not match. So upper branch generate the envelope detector will detect the envelope and generate the output. So x1 of t here is larger than x2 of t, and this comparator will generate the positive pulse. Take the difference and generate the positive pulse. Now consider the second case. Now if this cos omega 2t signal is received, so that is correspondence of 0. So this will not match, this will not match, because the first match filter will match with only cos omega 1t, but this will match. So if this one will be match, then here we have x2 of t is larger than x1 of t. So this difference of x1 of t and x2 of t, here comparator produce a negative input, so that will be decoded as a 0. So that way we can decode correctly. Now we will move to the AMRE FSK signal. So in AMRE FSK signal, earlier case is a binary FSK signal. We have two symbols, so it's known as a 2RE FSK signal. We have two symbols. One symbol represent bit 1 is a square root 2b by tb cos omega 1t, and the second signal represents the square root 2b by tb cos omega 2t. It is correspondence with 0. This one is correspondence with 1. And we two carriers are used as a cos 1 omega 1t and cos omega 2t. So that way we have 1, we are using this carrier signal, we have 0, we are using this carrier signal. So symbol rate and bit rate are same. But this is not a case, because now today in we have lots of data to transmit, multimedia information need to transmit. So this one symbol rate and bit rate are same. This case provide a very smaller amount of the bit transmission rate in a particular given time window. So if you want to increase the bit rate, it is necessary with the same duration we transmit a multiple bit, and then the value of m can be increased. So in earlier case m is equal to 2. Now if we consider the m is equal to 4, so in the same m is equal to 4, so here m is equal to 2 raised to n number of bits can be transmitted with the same time. So that is 4 is equal to 2 raised to n, so n would be 2. So 2 bits are transmitted with the same duration, and the total number of symbols can be transmitted are 4. So m defines the total number of symbols. So we can have a group of a 2 bits. We can choose the 4 different cosine signal, omega 1, omega 2, omega 3 and omega 4. 0, 0 bits bit combination, we are transmitting cos omega 1t. For 0, 1 bit combination, we are transmitting cos omega 2t. For 1, 0 cos omega 3t, and for 1, 1 we are transmitting cos omega 4t. So there are 2 bits. This one is given as name is a symbol 1, symbol 2, symbol 3 and symbol 4. Now there is also orthogonality is important, so it is assumed here, or you can make omega 1, omega 2, omega 3 and omega 4 in such a way so that the 4 cosine signals are mutually orthogonal. Very important part here is mutually orthogonal. This 4 should be mutually orthogonal. So if I pick up any 2, so this should be orthogonal. Or in general, if you write this equation in a general sense, we can write the integration of any 2 cosine signal cos omega it into cos omega jt, where I and j are differ, they are not same. So it should be produces 0. So omega 1 is equally orthogonal with omega 2, omega 3 and omega 4 carrier signal. The same for omega 2, omega 3 and omega 4. For an example, you can choose if your carrier frequency of first signal would be 1 kHz, second would be 2 kHz, third would have 3 kHz and 4 kHz. So these are the pair of mutually orthogonal signal. Here we have a diagram. We can see here we need to compress the signal, because otherwise this bit 0 we require a TB time period. So for another 0 we require another TB time period. So we require a total 2 TB time period. But here both are compressed in a single TB time period. So this would be compressed by a factor 2. So we have a 0 0, we have 4 carrier signal, VC1 of F1 frequency, here F2 frequency we can consider as F3 frequency and F4 frequency. If there would be a 0, we have a 1 carrier signal. If there would be a 1 0, we have a different carrier signal. If there would be a 0 1, we have another carrier signal, and so for all. So we have a 4 carrier signal F1 with frequency F1, F2, F3 and F4 for symbol 1, symbol 2, symbol 3 and symbol 4. So that is the same thing which is represented here. But if you compress any signal in a time domain to increase the bit rate, that will cost in a frequency domain. So in frequency domain, if you compress any signal in a time domain, so as per the Fourier transform property, it is expand with the same factor in frequency domain. So if here we compress the signal 2 times in a time domain, so bandwidth is also increased with the same factor. Bandwidth is double. So in 2RE FSK signal, we need a 2RB frequency. 2RB bandwidth to transmit the signal. So here it is double. So for 4RE FSK signal, we have 4RB bandwidth is required. So here we take one advantage is higher data rate transmission by increasing the M. If M will increase, your bit rate would also increase with the same factor. If you take the M is equal to 8, so we have a 3 bits in a one symbol. So 3 times more data can be transmitted than the binary FSK. If you take M is equal to 16, so in a 16 symbol, so we need a 4 bits to represent. One symbol is equal to 4 bits, so 4 times data rate transmission can be increased. So bit rate, number of bits transmitted in a 1 second, can be increased, but at the same time the bandwidth B has also increased with the same factor. So if you go with a M is equal to 8, we have a 3 into 2 means 6 RB, so it's a 6 time total bandwidth will increase. And if you go with a 16 FSK, we have a 4 into 2, 8 RB, so more bandwidth is required. So there is a trade-off, very well-known trade-off. If you take the advantage of a higher bit rate by increasing the value of N, then you have to suffer with a higher bandwidth also. Very well-known trade-off between this. This is very well-known trade-off in a communication system. So we conclude this lecture over here. Here there are a few homework for you. We have already learned here the transmitter and receiver structure. This receiver structure we have discussed about coherent and non-coherent for FSK, and here we have even learned about the transmitter structure of FSK signal. But this is for binary FSK signal. If the M would be increased, like as a 4, 8, 16, so this structure becomes a complex here. The same way the structure of transmitter and receiver, both coherent and one transmitter and coherent and non-coherent receiver, all the structures becomes a very much complex if the M would be increased. So this is your homework. You have to design the structure of your transmitter and receiver for MRE signal, where we have already studied the transmitter and receiver structure for M is equal to 2. So you have to study this transmitter and receiver structure for higher value of M, the higher value of M than 2. So its M should be greater than 2, like as M is equal to 4, 8, and you have to define the generalized structure of this transmitter and receiver. Definitely it is complex, but that you can use your resources of internet, and then you have to study the structure of transmitter and receiver, and you have to study how it design can be becomes more and more complicated with the value of M here. Then you also have to study the bit rate performance. So here we have study here, there would be in this diagram we have constellation S1 symbol can be represented on real axis, and S2 is a orthogonal to S1 signal, so that can be represented on a y axis here. So if you see here, so there are only 2 points, so whole region can be divided in a 2 part. But if you have another symbol S3, so you can design on a 3rd axis. If you have another symbol S4, you can design in a 4th axis and so forth. So make them all are orthogonal to each other. So your constellation diagram, if you draw for all this number of bits increase, then the this region becomes a narrow, so they have a higher bit error rate. So bit error rate is basically depends on the number of symbol. If higher number of symbols we are transmitting, so bit error rate there becomes a very close Euclidean distance between these two symbols decrease, and the bit error rate would be increased. So if m increase, here bit error rate increase. So this part also you have to study. So these two things is given as for your homework, and then in next lecture we discuss in detail about the phase shifting key PSK.